life, skills, or economic opportunities have shown to be effective. Education, in particular, is one of the most powerful tools in preventing child marriage. Some programs also support families economically, reducing the pressure to marry their daughter early. But there is still uh, some gap between the existing effort and the result. Uh, those existing efforts are not really successful, are not effective in some communities. Why? Because we have the emotional consequences that are real. Girls who are married young often face depression, anxiety, and all of that. And these issues are rarely acknowledged or addressed. Why aren't these girls getting help? We have the stigma in many communities. Mental health is taboo. Girls can talk about how they feel without being judged or dismissed. Especially in Africa, we know that mental health is not a topic that people talk about or that people consider. And for the stigma, I will take the example of Niger, for example. If a girl got married, the only even if she's facing many issues with her husband, like the only thing they will tell her is to be patient. Marriage is like this. You should wait. Everything is going to work out. Something like this. So it's reduced that self confidence of the girl. Like even when she wants to talk, she can't talk because she knows that they are going to tell her to be patient. Marriage is like this. We also have the mobility restriction. Married girls often lose the freedom to move, to go to school, or even visit health center, making it harder to access support. Lack of tailored services, mental health services that do exist are usually not adapted to the need of girl, young married girl. Many don't feel safe, heard, or understood, and that is a reality. So, what can be done to stop child marriage before it happens? Through empowering girls, because when girls know their rights, they can build self confidence and have access to information and leadership opportunities. They are more likely to resist early marriage and make informed life choices. Community engagement, child marriage is often seen as normal or necessary in many communities. We must engage parents, traditional leaders, and religious figure to change harmful norms and promote positive role models. Access to education, increase the access to education is also a key factor that can contribute to prevent child marriage, because education is one of the strongest protective tools against early marriage. Girls who stay in school are more likely to daily marriage, gain economic independence, and contribute meaningfully to society. And we also have the economic pathway. Many families marry their daughter due to poverty. When girls and family have access to economic empowerment opportunities like uh, vocational training, micro loans, or income generating programs, they gain the freedom to make different choices. This encourage them to not marry their children because of poverty. Response and support. We also have healing the hidden wounds. While preventing is key, we cannot forget the millions of girls who are already married or at risk. These girls need urgent care and protection. And at the beginning, when I was defining child marriage, I mentioned that each year, like around 12 million of girls are married and are married at age under 18. So that is what the response pillar comes in: comprehensive mental health and psychological support. Early marriage often lead to trauma and all of that. And without emotional support, these ones deepen over time. Services like counseling, therapy, and support groups help survivor heal and rebuild. That is why this kind of support, this kind of activity should be included in most of the community or societies. We also have safe spaces, create safe space. Married girls often face isolation or abuse. They feel like they don't belong to be part of their age mate group anymore. So create a safe space, physical or virtual, allow them to speak freely, receive care, and access vital information without fear. So kind of it will be great to be compassionate with those people. Legal aid: many married girls face legal battles they can't fight alone, whether it is about divorce or protection from abuse. Free and accessible legal services give them the power to reclaim their rights and safety. And lastly, we have policy and legislation, turning protection into law. Even when communities and girls are ready to say no to child marriage, weak and poorly enforced laws often fail to protect them. That is where a stronger legal frameworks are crucial, because in most of the African countries, there are laws that are against child marriage, but because they are not enforced laws, like they fail to protect those children. And unfortunately, child marriage is still a big topic, but then people don't talk about it too much, especially in countries like Chad, Niger also. There is also Guinea, and yeah, those West African countries. We have clear enforced laws. Every country should set the legal marriage age at 18 without exception for religion, parental consent, or tradition. Choosing legal loopholes: in many places, girls are still married through customary or informal union that escape legal oversight, and these gaps must be addressed. Enforcement and accountability: law are only as strong as their enforcement. Government must strengthen police, judges, and social workers to recognize and act on child marriage cases constantly and without bias. What can we can do? So for ending child marriage is not enough if we do not heal the deep invisible wounds it leaves behind. Mental health really must no longer be treated as an afterthought. It should be at the heart of the solution, because it's kind of a taboo, unfortunately, in most of the African countries. People don't talk about mental health, people don't talk about anxiety, depression, and everything. Because depression, when, for example, for depression, when we are talking about depression, people can even say that you are crazy, you are just crazy, like it doesn't exist. Those kind of diseases are for the Western people, like people who live in Asia, Europe, and yeah. So increase funding for mental health services, advocate for greater investment by governments, donors, and NGOs in culturally sensitive girls center mental health care, especially in communities where child marriage is common. Integrate mental health into all child marriage policies. push for mental health to be included in national action plans, education policies, health strategies, and child protection frameworks. So support becomes a standard, not a luxury, kind of. Empower local organizations to act, work with grassroots groups. It can be women's group, it can be an association, it can be traditional leaders group to train community counselors, set up safe spaces and provide direct emotional support. Local actors are closest to the girl and often the most trusted. So, in what ways can our communities better support girls' mental health? Because those are um, kind of among what action can be done to protect girl from child marriage and also to protect their mental health. But then, what do you think that can our communities better can our communities do to better support girls' mental health? And I don't know if you can just type it maybe in the chat so we can see if you guys are following or just. So I saw establishing community counseling centers, increase funding for mental health services, reports by stopping the shame those who decide to speak up through providing favorable systems for girls to be safe in communities, by encouraging open communication, by breaking systems that belittle girls. All right. Thank you. So, thank you guys for those amazing reflection. And I believe that you suggested, so why not making it like into a real action? So, key stakeholders and target. Who must act basically? Driving change requires collective action and engagement from diverse stakeholders. We have governments and policymakers. They hold the power to shape the future by enacting and enforcing strong laws that protect children, children allocating funding for mental health services and ensuring access to education without their active commitment and leadership progress cannot be sustained. International organizations, they play an important role in amplifying global advocacy, setting international standards and providing technical and financial support, and by coordinating cross-borders efforts, sharing best practices and holding countries accountable, they help ensure that children, marriage, and its mental health impact remain a priority on the global agenda. We have civil societies and NGOs that are organizations that works on the ground, and they are essential for translating policies into real life impact. They implement awareness campaign, run support services for survivor, and engage directly with communities to promote behavioral change. We have community leaders, traditional, religious, parents, women's groups, women's association, that have immense influence in shaping local norms and attitude. Their public support can challenge harmful tradition and encourage family to keep girls in school and out of early marriage. We also have the healthcare providers, who are basically the doctors, nurses. They are often the first point of contact for girls experiences the consequences of child marriage. Their role is important. Why? Because it's identifying sign of mental distress, offering compassionate support, and referring girls to appropriate mental health services. By integrating mental health into routine care, they can help break the silence and stigma surrounding it. Media Media are important because the power shape public opinions and influence social norms by telling its stories, amplifying girls' voices, and highlighting the hidden impact of child marriage on mental health. They can raise awareness, challenge harmful practices, and inspire collective action across communities and countries. Girls and women, they are not just victims, they are leaders and change makers. Their voices, lives, experience, and insight must guide every policy program and solution centering girls, ensure well intervention are relevant, respectful, and empowering. And lastly, we also have men and boys. Engaging men and boys is important. Why? Because they dismantle the, the gender norms that fuel child marriage when they becomes parts of the advocacy for girls' rights and mental well-being. It's contribute to shift the culture from within. Um, so this is a quote that I have right. We have every one of us has a role to play, whether you are a student, a leader, an activist, or simply someone who cares. Your actions, big or small, can change a girl's life. Together, we can end the child marriage and create a world where every girl is safe, supported, and free to grow into her full potential mentality, emotional, and physically. What you can do, you can start even today. Learn and share, educate yourself about child marriage and its consequences, because mental health is not only the consequences, is not the only one consequences of child marriage, but then there are several consequences that it can have on the person who got married early. Break the silence, start conversation in your community, speak, use your voice, post on social media, if you are an influencer, join awareness campaign. You can also volunteer or donate or partner with organization working to protect girls and provide mental health care. You can also listen to their voices, create space for them to lead, believe them, and yeah. So lastly, we have let's create a world where I don't know if I can have three people who can just read those three sentences that are listed here. Like just three people, or only one person can just read them.
Okay. Is it from where let's create a world?
Yeah, let's create a world and then
Okay. Let's create a world where no girl is forced to marry before she's ready, where every girl has access to education, safety, and support, where mental health is valued, protected, and prioritized, especially for those who have survived early marriage.
thank you so much. And lastly, when we invest in girls' well being, we are not just changing individual lives, we are strengthening entire communities. And before ending my presentation, I would like you guys to just write again, it's the only one request I'm asking you now to just write in the chat what do you think that what action do you think that you can do in your community or in your society to fight against child marriage and its consequences on mental health. Just write it in the chat. It can be big action or small action. It just depends on what you think that you can do to fight against child marriage. Oh wow, amazing. So I think all of those suggestions, all of those action that you have suggested in the chat, I believe that you guys can make it into a reality because there are amazing action that can be done, and like those action can have a meaningful impact on child marriage, like how to fight against child marriage and everything. So I believe that you guys are going to work on those actions and make them into realities for you to contribute to fight against child marriage and its consequence on mental health, especially. Thank you so much for your responses, and this is the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions or reflection, you can just share it so we can discuss about it. Feel free to ask any questions because this is a safe place, safe space. We can talk about anything you want to related to child marriage and mental health, of course. So feel free to just share your thoughts or ask any question that you have.
Wow, Verena, thank you so much. I mean, that was a lot. I wrote so many things. I don't even know where to start from. But I think my takeaway is the younger the child is married, the more severe the health consequence. Because I mean, the person is still a child, and then a child give birth to a child. Then how will a child take care of a child? Then the cycle continues, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I think at this point, you open for questions. So you can raise up your hands if you have any questions, or if you think your environment is not okay, you can put it in the chat. I'll read it out from Emuna. So please, if you have any questions you want to ask, any clarification, any idea, you can raise up your hand or put it in the chat box.
I think Nurat's has a question.
Okay, I no, Kadi. I think Kadi has a question. What is the rate of child marriage in Niger? Okay.
All right. I don't have a specific rate for the child marriage in Niger, but the last time I have checked, I just know that we have the highest rate of child marriage like in West Africa. So
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Okay, Maimuna, let me just ask, okay, someone said I think it is
Oh,
76%.
oh,
Okay.
right.
Okay, there's one from Juan. How do we get NGOs on board to support outreaches in our remote communities?
So to answer these questions, me personally, I have been working with NGOs, and I know it's not easy like to reach out to NGOs, especially when you don't have any project in mind. Because me personally, how I got to work with NGOs, I started with a small project. It was about social cohesion, and then like I just draft a project kind of for social cohesion and peace. And then I started to work with one NGOs in my countries. Then after that, like I learned kind of how to work on a project, and also I started to develop that passion for community engagement and everything. So one advice I can give you is just to have your project, to have a meaningful project that you know that it came from you, and also that you know that you are going to be able to explain in front of NGOs, because NGOs, they are here to help, right? But then they don't give their a fund, or they don't do donation to like, it's just like this. So you need to ensure that the NGOs, you should have an NGO in your mind, that you know that if you go uh to them, they can work with you, draft your project, and make sure that everything is clear, and your project goes with their goals kind of in the communities, so that maybe by chance, by any chance, they can say, oh yeah, we would like to work with you, something like this. Because me personally, I have started like this. So I don't know if my answer has helped you, or if it didn't, you can just ask it again in the chat. While child marriage is seen as a form of
Okay.
protection, how do we convince families that prevent pers- preserving a child will
Okay.
not
So,
affect?
maybe now we have one from Maranatha.
Mm-hmm.
So let me
Yeah.
just read it out.
All
In
right.
conflict-affected areas where child marriage is seen as a form of protection, how do we convince families that preserving a girl's mental health and future is worth more than her perceived safety through marriage?
I think some families can understand, like, basically, but then some families also, like, they struggle to understand the realities of everything. So a holistic approach, and also like just know how to approach those families, because some families, they are kind of resistible. You can go to them, and then they can start saying that you are against their happiness or something like this. Or if they do not accept the fact that you are concerning them about child marriage and its consequences, you can just directly reach out to police or judges, or like people who can be involved to stop those families to give their child or their girls to someone else, like to get married or something like that.
Yes.
As long as it's something, because child marriage is when the person is under 18, right? So
Yes.
most of the governments, and most of the communities, it's something that is not it's kind of not, how can I say that, like, people don't follow that policies. So when you directly reach out to police or judges, or maybe even NGOs, they can actually stop those people to give their child a- and there is that question,
Okay.
Khadija, to
Yeah,
from
there's
Khadija to
one
Barry.
from Khadija. Assuming that the girl is already married, what can be done to help her either leave the marriage or to be financially independent? Because for me, I feel like when a woman has enough money, a lot of nonsense will stop. Right.
All right. um Because for me, I feel like when a woman has enough money, lot of
Yeah.
non-stop will stop. Okay, me, I do believe that when we encourage empowerment, like activities such as, maybe it can be gathering or something like this, for women, it can empower like the girl. And also, I have been talking about education as a very big protective tools against child marriage. Like when you encourage education in your community, like especially girl education in your community, can actually contribute to stop child marriage, or to reduce child marriage in your community. And you said what can be done to help her
To
either
help her
leave the
leave
marriage
the
or be
marriage. Yeah.
financially independent. Um, it start to have this conversation with her, because most of the time they have this pressure on them of you will be fine, be patient or something like this, while then they are not even happy in their marriage. So make them realize that first of all, that they are not forced to stay if they are not happy. They are not forced to I don't know, like to 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 do what they're asking to do if they are not happy to do that. Because most of the time it's because they don't know their right. So if a girl know her rights, if you go and talk to that person and make her realize that this is her right, and then she's not forced to do what she wants to do, like it can actually encourage her to leave her husband, her marriage, and also how to be financially independent. Just I know that like there are many NGOs that actually work on how to make girls financially independent through many projects, but then it's hard for you, like for you for yourself to say I'm going to help that girl to be financially independent. But then you can just encourage if she has some project in mind and she has money that she can invest in that project, she can actually start, because everything is just relying on self-confidence, self-esteem, and everything.
Right. Okay. We have another one from Mary Ann. How do you create a safe space for someone who is currently facing child marriage to be free and open with you? Because at times children are threatened not to speak out. Sometimes these people work hand in hand with police or with the NGOs.
So it's kind of what I have been said to
Okay.
Khadija too. Just make them realize that they can leave their marriage if they don't feel comfortable. Teach them their rights, and also be compassionate with them, because most of the time when you approach them they are going to say, and you ask them, are you fine, they are just going to say yes, I'm fine, I'm happy, or something like this, while they are facing
Yeah.
many challenging in their marriage. Just don't give up. Keep asking them, are you fine? Be close to them. Like be open minded, and also like it's going to encourage the person to actually open up to you. Like the person will start talking to you about what she's going through, what is happening in her marriage. So just be compassionate with them. Try ask them. Don't be afraid to approach like those girls in your community who got married, and talk to them. Be open minded, be close to them, be her friend. Because most of the time, because they got married early, they face isolation because they just feel like they don't belong to the age mates group anymore. So it's difficult for them to have even friend to talk to, or like parent or family to talk to.
Okay. So before we take the question from Ruth, I think Nurat would like to say something. So after Nurat, then we'll take Ruth's question.
All right, sure.
Yeah. Hello, Nurat.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I can hear you. Thanks,
Okay.
Selena. Thanks, Maimuna.
Yeah.
I also have a question, but before I ask my question, Maimuna, thank you so much. That was a very elaborate presentation. I have learned so much. I personally had so much expectations in terms of getting to understand why exactly these numbers are so high, in West and Central Africa. So my question is, why are these communities, specifically in Western and Central Africa, I'm from Kenya, East Africa, why are these communities practicing child marriages? Like, what is the actual root cause by which, it's done very rampantly? So I would just want to understand the root cause of this. And then are there any specific laws that have been put in place in the said countries, for example, to address this? To me, looks like a crisis because the numbers are so high. I was checking the UNICEF statistics that 4 out of 10 girls are married before they get to the age of 18. So I would want to understand, one, the root cause, and is there any specific laws that have been put in place to address this crisis? Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. For the first question, which is about why are those statistics very high in West and Central Africa? Uh, First of all, it's because of tradition and cultural norms and also religions. Because most of the time, countries that has higher rates of child marriage, especially in West Africa, they are Muslim countries, and because of religion, they believe that like a children or to avoid a girl to get pregnant before she got married. So like those parents, they actually give their children to be married. They encourage their children they force their children uh, to get married before they got pregnant or yeah. And there is also education. It because we don't have a strong education program, especially in West Africa and Central Africa. So girls are really encouraged to leave school and to get married because most of the time they are like, even though I study, I'm not going to get any job, so I'm going to get married. And there is also the influence of the society, what they think that if a girl doesn't get married early, like when she's under 18, like she's not going to be considered as a young girl. But then like after she got married, when she has she's above 18, like she can be treated as an older person, kind of older girl. So there is that influence of the society that is just like you need to get married early because all of your friend, all of the people around you are getting married, so you to make sure that you get married. And there is also poverty. Most of African West African and Central African countries, they are very poor countries. They are kind of low income countries. So poverty also encourage families to give their children into marriage. And the second question was, I don't know if you can repeat it again or a specific text I can refer to. 'Cause-
The second question was, is there any law that has been put in place to specifically address child marriages in Central and Western Africa? Also, maybe let me just add a third question there, because when we are doing advocacy, we are told to try our best to be evidence-based so that we are not going with, quote unquote, rumors and what people do in your village or in your community. So is there, on religion being like a root cause of child marriage, is there a specific text that we can reference to that says, the girl should be married early so that they avoid pregnancy and,
All
what's
right.
the yeah.
All right. For the religion, I talk about Islam, right? And Islam really doesn't encourage people to marry their children early. Like a children should be married when she is ready, because child marriage is also kind of forced marriage. So there is no specific text that mention that religion, like in religion, for example, a girl should be married when she's under 18 or something like this. And also the question related to law, if there is a specific law that has been put on. uh there is a specific laws that has been put on, but then most of the time child marriage happen in those uh in those villages, in those communities. And unfortunately, like there are not survey that are being done to actually verify if those laws are being respected. Because most of the time, like people don't care about what is happening in the villages or in the communities that are far away, the cities. So like people don't really respect that law because sometimes also it's because they don't know about the fact that that law exists. And also sometimes when you are talking about people who are from the villages or communities, you are talking to them, they are just going to answer like they don't know, they didn't know about that law, or like the religion. Because of the religion, they need to give the girl like into marriage and everything. So most of the time child marriage really happen in those communities that are far away, the cities or the villages. But then laws, every country has the laws that mention that girl should not be married like when she's under 18, because it's an international law and every country kind of has it.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Memuna. I think we'll take a question from Agnes.
From
Agnes, your hand is up. Agnes. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. I would like to. Thank you so much. My name is Priscilla Tumpesa, and I'm a national of the Kingdom of Lesotho. So I would like to add from the questions that had been some questions, the three of them that had been uh, shared. So adding to our presenters' responses, I'll start with that one which talks about the how can one become part of the organizations. So from my experience was that I started as volunteering with organizations, and then that had made me to even get to be appointed at the age of 21 to serve as a chief operating officer. So it means by virtue of just taking a step to volunteer, it even opened bigger doors for me. And then on that issue again, I can say what helps a lot is through interactions and mentorship, because as we all we can recall that information travels around your circle. So if you're not at the right, if in your circle like there are not a lot of people who have certain diverse specialized knowledge, among which they are multicultural and intergenerational, then sometimes it cannot be easier for some things to reach you. Also, my other advice could be to also subscribing to the organization's websites or email, and also following them on social media, because that is when you'll be able to see when they have certain projects or certain initiatives or movements that they have, or programs that align with your interest or topic of discussion for today. Coming to the second one that
Um,
talks.
Agnes. Agnes.
Hello.
Hi. So sorry to cut in, but we have about few minutes left to close. So if you could just sum up your question
Okay,
before the call
I'm
ends.
really sorry. I'm really sorry. It's okay. Thank you.
Oh, are you sure you're fine?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. Please, if we could just turn on our camera. We want to take a group picture, just a quick one. If we just turn on our cameras, everyone would end very soon. Just see, wow, see our pretty faces. So Mary, can you help us with the picture? Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, I
Nurat will be taking the
see.
picture. Nurat will take the picture. Nurat,
Okay,
please help
Nura should
us.
take it. Okay.
Please.
Okay, Mary, your camera is not on. Maranatha, Lena, Jacinta, Jay, your camera is off. Please, let's just be snappy. Just a quick picture. Let's all give a white smile whilst Nurat is taking the picture. Damilola, your camera is off. Okay. Hello, Nurat. Okay, I think she's taking a picture. Okay, she says she's ready. Are you done with the picture or we are posing again? Okay. Please let's smile for Nurat. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. She's done with the 10 cameras on. I really saw pretty faces. Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Mimuna. Personally, for me, I'm taking a lot because now I've learned the mental health consequences. They are long term, they are not temporary. It's actually transcends into generations because she's gonna send it forward. We've, I'm sure we've learned a lot. Thank you so much. I will hope to see you another time. Uh, Thank you guys. We had a wonderful time. We just have some 2 minutes. If we just quickly type in the chat box just a summary of what you picked up from this session today. So I'm just gonna type mine. So let's just type what we learned from the session today, whatever you learned from it, whatever idea you got from this, let's just put it in the chat box. Okay, I'm just gonna type mine. Well, right. Thank you so much, Agnes. Take action at all times. I should not wait. Yes. There is no wait. And please let's remember to be each other's keeper. We should be on the lookout and advocate for our sisters in whatever community we are because they need us. We need to believe them whenever they voice out. And then remember, Black girls, your dreams are valid. So it's been a wonderful time. Thank you, Memuna. Thank you all
You're
for
welcome.
joining. Thank you,
Thank you.
Maranatha, Ruth, Eunice, Kadi. Thank you all so much. We'll meet back on the page. Have a lovely night.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
the
too.
opportunity.
You're welcome.